You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
Let's get to Mitchell McClenaghan, former white ball specialist for New Zealand. Thanks for joining us, Mitch. Let's start with Matt Henry. Out of the tournament, how big a loss to New Zealand is Matt Henry?
Yeah, big loss. He's been probably a premier fast bowler over the last couple of years, particularly in the one-day format. He's been outstanding, he really has. And while he probably didn't get the return he probably would have liked throughout this World Cup, he's still been a really integral part of that bowling attack, which I feel in this middle stage was probably our strength. He's a huge loss. But just like in 2015 when Adam Milne got injured, Matt Henry actually came into the side and performed well straight away. We've got the same scenario here with KJ coming off the back of a 4-dayer and being flown over. It looks like he might get a start tonight.
Is Cole Jamieson a good replacement? Do you feel confident about his ability to quickly integrate himself into the white ball format?
Yeah, look, it's a tough one, right? It's with Adam Milne being around the traps, I think they initially, when they were in Bangladesh, KJ got the nod to be in that squad as the first reserve. And I feel with the injury cloud of Lockie Ferguson as well, I might have steered towards Adam Milne going over there and being that backup option. But KJ's a quality player as well, mate. I just feel like Milne can do both the roles of the first change, and we saw in Bangladesh how effective he was with the new ball, which I think is his best spot in one-day cricket. So, look, it's a buck each way. You've got arguments for both, but KJ will be able to do a job. It's just how they actually set their bowling lineup up. KJ's going to have to bowl first change, and I've got a feeling that they're going to give him the new ball, which we saw in the last game with Tim Southee. If he doesn't take the new ball, with the pace that he's bowling, he lacks a little bit of penetration in those middle overs, and Matt Henry probably should have done that first change bowl role for the side and given Southee a couple of overs to try and swing it and get a couple of wickets up top.
You look at the tournament as a whole, and New Zealand started so well, that incredible win over England, then victories over the Netherlands, Bangladesh and Afghanistan. But the last three losses to India, to Australia and to South Africa, admittedly good cricket sides. Where hasn't it quite gone right for the Black Caps in the last three games for you, Mitch?
Yeah, a couple of places. I think we'll start with the bowling because, we've got a couple of injuries. A couple of games where Jimmy Neesham's had the bowl. Which has been unfortunate, and that's been due to injuries. And he's probably been, as the career's gone on, really turned into just more that powerhouse, less the all-rounder that he was at the start of his career. So that's been unfortunate, that Lockie Ferguson only got through 3 overs and Matt Henry only gets through 3 overs, and you're really not being able to use your full weapons at your disposal to be able to restrict a team to a score. The last 2 games I would look at from a tactical point of view. I would say winning the toss both times and putting the side into bats on good conditions has been a tactical error. I think with the lineup that we've got and the bowlers that we have at our disposal, I think our bowling lineup's our strength. I think you have to be able to back your bowling lineup to be able to defend a total. Whatever you go out and get, particularly with Kane Williamson missing, I think you have to back your senior bowlers, Trent Boult, Matt Henry, obviously Lockie Ferguson, Mitchell Santner. They're world class, and they're the most experienced people in this lineup. So I think they've missed a trick there. I think Rachin Ravindra has smoothed over a few cracks with the batting order. He's come out and been phenomenal, but barring Devon Conway's 152 at the start, he's averaged 20 in those other games, and he's the guy you look to when Kane Williamson's out to be that man who's consistently getting those 40s, those 50s, those 70s, those 80s that get us off to a solid start and let you unleash the power of Glenn Phillips and Jimmy Neesham towards the end of the innings. So I think there's a few cracks there in all facets, tactically, batting and bowling, and it's just been covered up by some brilliance from Rachin Ravindra at times, and Glenn Phillips chiming in with the ball as well.
Can they turn it around then in time to make the semis first of all, and then to win 2 knockout games against high quality opposition?
Look, first step is to make the semi-finals. As soon as I think Pakistan will be a good opportunity tonight. I'm hoping that Devon Conway can get out of that rut where he hasn't put a significant score on the board since that first game. I'm hoping he can stand up, and Will Young matches up nicely against Pakistan. He got that 86 and 87 at the start of the year when all the boys were away for IPL, and that's arguably how he got into that opening slot ahead of Finn Allen. So he's comfortable with this lineup. He knows that if he gets through the first couple of overs of Shaheen Shah Afridi, that he can score runs and score runs well. If you look at the numbers from the Pakistan side, not one of their spinners is averaging less than 60. In actual fact, they're all around that 80, 90 mark averaging with the ball. It's just showing the lack of penetration in the middle. So the battle tonight will be one up front there, Shaheen Shah Afridi and Haris Rauf against our opening batters, really. And I think once we get through that phase, it leans towards a favourable result for New Zealand, in my opinion. But get past this game, get to the semi-finals, mate, and then it just comes down to who's got the balls on the day. And that's what it's all about. Is a lot of luck can happen in semi-finals and you're a chance. So everyone's started a chance at that stage, and I think New Zealand have the temperament to be able to deal with that higher pressure than, say, probably South Africa and India with the pressures of it being a home World Cup, and Australia as well.
And just back to the bowling, if I could, getting early wickets has been a bit of a problem for New Zealand. Not too many new ball wickets for New Zealand's pacemen at this World Cup. How big a part of 50-over cricket is that, getting early wickets?
Oh, mate, it's absolutely huge. It's what it does, and I go back to when Hess was in charge and Baz and the attitude then when we were starting to turn around our one-day cricket. It was like, just you need to get teams 6 or 7 down by the 40th over, and that was our one goal, to make sure that the death phase is easier for us at the end of the innings. So spending all your resources, trying to take wickets up top and try and make sure they're 6, 7 down by the 40th, and just makes it easier for you to contain at the end. And particularly in a country like India where the boundaries are so small, the wickets are so flat, if you've got a team only 3 down or 4 down, then geez, you can score like we've seen against New Zealand the last couple of games. You can score 120 in the last 10 overs, and that's where we've lost the games in the last couple of games. So that's it, mate. With the ball, we're just going to have to be a lot more aggressive at the top. We need those wickets up front, and I think that's why if Southey's playing, he needs to take that new ball just to give us some chance to get some lateral movement.
All right. And India, on home soil, you'd expect them to be pretty good, but they've been very, very good. 7 from 7. They got South Africa tomorrow night, so we might get a gauge on just how good they are then. But does this feel like India's World Cup to lose? Yeah,
undoubtedly. It really is. It's every single one of their players has stood up and made a significant contribution. I think the surprising one who hasn't, and I guess it's not surprising in one-day cricket, but in terms of his skill and level of ability, is Surya Kumar Yadav hasn't really fired at that number 6 spot. And I think that's the only crack. If you can knock over the top 3, get Virat Kohli, Shubman Gill and Rohit Sharma early, that's where the crack is in their game. So South Africa, I think, have got the side to expose that. And if they expose it in this game, when you've been rolling so well in a tournament and then you have a game where you get rolled and you get knocked over and some cracks get exposed, particularly with pressure of being a home World Cup, that could all unravel. You just never know. So for the tournament's sake, for anyone going into that top 4, whether it's Australia, New Zealand, Pakistan or South Africa, if South Africa can get an upset here, I think that could go a long way to bringing those sides back into the tournament.
Intriguing finish coming up to this Cricket World Cup round robin phase, then on to the semis and the final. Thanks, Mitch. Appreciate your expertise. As always, Mitchell McClenaghan joining us. Simon says, Piney, when Williamson comes back, I'd bat him at 4 after Ravindra. He's better in the middle overs. And wouldn't Milne have been a better replacement than Jamieson, apart from his batting, I guess? Yeah, Mitch just alluded to that, obviously. And Matt says, I agree with Mitch. Milne is solid, quick, experienced, and can be a match winner. I thought he must have been injured again, not to be the first choice replacement for Matt Henry.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.